So over the last 3 years specifically, I've had a lot of results in my business as an artist and getting clients or selling coaching, anything of that likeness. And I've always had a lot of issues kind of mapping those results to my self-image or changes in confidence or changes in self-worth or how proud I am of myself. And that was a weird shift that I noticed about the beginning of 2022. I thought, I've got enough money to last me for 5 years if I was to stop working. I've had my work in Times Square. I'm working for some of the biggest brands in the world. And yet I still have the same self-image that I did a couple of years prior. And this has always been a strange dance that I've had over the last couple of years as I've been getting more results and then kind of still seeing that my self-image isn't really changing. And that led me into psycho-cybernetics and Maxwell Maltz and all that kind of realm of stuff, Neville Goddard. And it sure as hell helped. And my self-image has been shifting. But there's one thing that I'm realizing now is truly helping it. And that's courage and a lot of things of that likeness. So everything that I'm doing as an artist that is concocting results in the real world, I feel like is really, really difficult to find self-worth in. And that goes for any kind of creation, whether you're a music artist or a traditional artist, a painter or some shit, or a content creator online. It's really difficult to look back at what you've produced and say, that makes me feel proud of myself. That makes me feel... You feel it a little bit, but not the extent. It's not a raw feeling that encumbers your whole being. It's kind of a thought you have to push yourself into, at least for me and kind of other artists I know as well, other creators in general. And I think a lot of that is because if you are content with everything you've done, or content with the results you've had, content with what you've produced, why improve? Why do better? And I think it's rare for people that produce any kind of art or creation in general to look back at what they've made and think, that's amazing, that needs nothing else done to it, that's perfect, it's a masterpiece. We always think that it needs to be perfected a little bit more, needs to be worked on a little bit more. So how can you create work for years and years and think, oh my God, I'm so proud of that? Because then you look at another artist and you see what they're doing and then you want to, oh shit, I need to go and do something like that. Or the scale is always moving. So what that leads me into what I said about courage. I have been boxing on and off since I was about 14, but it was always pad work, bag work, shadow boxing, the usual kind of stuff that you do as a beginner. I never sparred before. I never actually felt the dangers of it before, felt the fear of it. And I've brought a lot of struggle into my life purposefully to find that kind of purpose as a man, whether it's the gym or doing things that don't provide instant gratification, meditating, journaling, the gym. And they've helped a lot, but again, there has almost felt like a cap on what they've done to that, that kind of side of my self-worth. Like, yeah, it improved my physique, which improved my confidence and improved other things. But I started boxing again about 2 months ago, and I've had 2 sparring sessions so far, and the first session, I was so scared getting in the ring. I was sparring with my coach and stuff, and he was going quite light on me, but I was very scared, and I felt this pit of anxiety that I've not felt in a long time. And we got in there, we did 3 rounds, and he whacked me about, and everything that I thought I knew just went out the window completely. And it was really humbling. But then I came away from that and I meditated on it. And I kept thinking about it, thought about what I would do differently. And he said to me after the session, he was going at me because I wasn't taking any action. I wasn't doing anything. So he was filling in that void. He said that if a good fighter detects that you're stagnant, you're tired, you're quiet, you're not doing anything, he's going to fill in that void for you. So the second I was kind of waiting for him to do something, he stepped in. So then I had a couple more sessions, and then a couple of days ago, I had my second sparring session. And I got in there, the same amount of fear was there, same amount of anxiety, but I had more control over it. And I had more awareness of what it was. I had more awareness of the unknown that was coming after it. We did 4 rounds. I held my own. I was actually going for shots. I was actually letting my punches go. I was letting my hands go. And I brawled a little bit. And I came out of that experience for the first time in my entire life feeling like I was proud of myself. So that led me in this big spiral of thought. And I was like, shit, I've never felt this proud of myself. It doesn't mean I've never felt any kind of confidence or being proud of myself from the results I've had. And I didn't really want to insinuate that with kind of where I started off, but truthfully, it brought a level to it, right? Because it was like, oh shit, all the level of like self-worth that I had gotten from all my results as business or changing my physique and in all the transformations I've had over the last few years in self-improvement and business, the level of self-worth that I just felt coming out of that ring was unmatched. It was levels and levels and levels above all of this shit. And that led me to think, okay, so the last 3-4 years I've derived, ever since I've actually been out in the world trying to get results, being a man on self-improvement, trying to be somebody above average, be the top 1%, create a, unusual life for myself. I've derived all of my self-worth from the results, and that's why my self-image hasn't changed. So what I journaled about and thought about was that when I still got in the ring the other day and I felt triumphant and I felt good, I was still getting hit by shots I shouldn't have been getting hit by. My footwork still went to complete shit. I was still, all the bad habits that we were working on in the pads and the bags and all this shit were amplified because I was so focused on surviving in the ring and holding my own. So what I'm getting at is my performance still probably wasn't that amazing. But the fact is that I showed up for myself, I did better, I tried, I exhibited some form of skill. I didn't feel proud of myself because I did well. I felt proud of myself because I beat my demons. I felt proud of myself because I overcame those barriers. And it kind of opened up this loop that I've never even felt before, in that I've already got the same amount of anxiety for the next time I spar. But then I know what's on the other side of it is that same level of self-worth. So it's like, holy shit, okay, that's fun. That led me to think about my work. Maybe, just maybe, the way to feel that same level of self-worth and feel proud of myself in the same way is to not look at the results I'm producing, the things I'm making, what companies I've worked for, how much money I made that month, but instead to look at the process. How am I turning up for myself? What barriers do I have that I need to detect and beat? Because that's where the self-worth is on the other side of. Not the quality of the result, but the quality of how much I defeat myself in the process, in terms of defeating the barriers, the demons in the process. If I can defeat those, because I think it's very, very applicable, especially as a creator, to get to a result without beating much of your demons. Did you procrastinate for a week before you even sat down to do that result? That's the demon that's stopping you. Did you spend too long perfecting it, making decisions way past the Pareto principle in the 20% where nobody gives a fuck and really should have just stopped then and moved on? When I think now, as somebody that's mastered my craft, I've done the 10,000 hours, I'm insanely good at what I do. All of my struggle is still in the process now. In fact, more so than it felt like a couple of years ago, because I was so focused on getting a better result that I ignored the process. Now, the only thing I've got left to identify and to hone in and to get better is the process. So I think I've made a very viable discovery about improving self-worth with myself, in that it has to be in the process. It has to be in how we do things and how we turn up for ourselves, because the result is completely fucking irrelevant. I did shit in the ring the other day, but I turned up for myself better than the time before, and I did better. But it still probably wasn't that good. So, as somebody that's been a perfectionist nearly my whole life, that makes me think self-worth comes from the process. It comes from doing the hard work, not the result at the end of the hard work. And I think that's important. I think that's something we should identify and analyze more. Anyway, thank you for watching this. The camera's going to die, so I'm going to stop. I kind of want to keep going a little bit, but the camera's going to die, so I'm going to let it go. I want to keep making content like this. I want to keep making videos like this. I want to start this journey of actually vocalizing what the fuck goes on in my head through my journey as an entrepreneur and building numerous businesses and being an artist and a creator, and hopefully soon a fighter as well. And this has been a thought pattern that I've been on the last couple of days and thought that I should probably share. So if you felt like you got some value from it, then subscribe, and I'll keep making a lot of videos like this.